Indeed, as a result of the far-reaching constitutional and governance reforms that were embodied in the new constitution, the government was keen to find out the impact of these challenges on the well-being of our citizens. Arising from this, Kenya decided to be the first country to voluntarily submit to a second comprehensive governance assessment, whose climax was the peer review conducted by APR Forum Heads of State and Government in January of 2017. I'm happy to note that in the second review, the following examples were highlighted as some of the milestones achieved by Kenya during the period. First being the promulgation of the Constitution of Kenya in August of 2010. The second, the establishment of a devolved system of government. In fact, the chairman sitting right here of the Council of Governors was the one responsible for that first APRM forum, so it's important to note that. And he's now a governor. The establishment of empowerment funds like the Women Enterprise Fund, the Youth Enterprise Development Fund, and the Uwezo Fund, as well as the establishment of Huduma Centers as one-stop shops for efficient and effective delivery of public service. However, ladies and gentlemen, notwithstanding the tremendous progress that we have made, a number of challenges were identified during the second review that need to be addressed. These are the implementation of the two-thirds gender rule, the high costs of the devolved system and a ballooning wage bill, diversity management for national unity, corruption, as well as the quest for transformative leadership, and lastly, poverty and inequality. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm pleased to say that we as a government have prepared a comprehensive plan to address the challenges highlighted in the second report. We began walking this journey by trying to create a stable political environment, bringing together partners from both sides of the political aisle. This we did in recognition of the fact that the challenges facing Kenya require non-partisan action if indeed we are to resolve them. On gender balance, in all appointed and elected positions in government, I am happy with the steps being taken by Parliament to finalize fresh legislation, but we have a long way yet to go. Na munajiona, munajujua ni nini tunasema. We are alive to the fact that for all our successes, a lot more could have and can be achieved by empowering the full participation of women in both the public and private sectors. On matters of national security and counterterrorism, I wish to commend our law enforcement and security and intelligence agencies for their vigilance and preemptive actions that have thwarted a number of planned attacks. The frequency of terrorist activities in Kenya has declined tremendously over the past few years due to internal reorganization, as well as the pacification process spearheaded by AMISOM, with the participation of our gallant men and women in uniform, especially those of the Kenya Defense Forces. Together with our friends within the continent of Africa and further afield, we intend to continue fighting terrorism with the ultimate aim of eliminating all threats to our national security. With respect to the overall cost of operating a devolved system of government and the ballooning wage bill, appropriate measures have been conceived. And indeed, on this note, I want to note that when we had our summit meeting in Sagana a few weeks ago, we did acknowledge, together with our partners in county government, that this issue was an issue of immediate concern. that we will not be able to deliver, either as a national government or as county governments, if we are not able to address ourselves to this particular situation. And towards that end, and in order to be inclusive and fully participatory, we did agree, and I think, Chairman, you will confirm that we will be holding in the very near future a national conference to discuss this issue, which we all agreed was a matter of national importance going forward, and that needs to be dealt by all parties with an interest. Ladies and gentlemen, diversity management for national unity is an ongoing initiative and one that is also very close to my heart. The implementation of the devolved system of government has helped to a large extent in addressing much of the perceived marginalization by giving citizens across the country more opportunities to participate directly in governance and development. In addition, as I stated earlier, I have also reached out across the political divide, and we have come up with an initiative that we refer to as the Building Bridges Initiative. I believe this has greatly helped bring our people closer together, and I am pleased that Kenyans are increasingly appreciating that while it is acceptable to differ politically, the differences must not be used to divide our people and lure them into cycles of conflict and wasteful polarization. There is indeed, after all, life after elections. Indeed, we are persuaded that elections are the only lawful way to contest for political power, and they must never be used as an excuse to pull the country apart. Ladies and gentlemen, my stand on corruption and the quest for transformative leadership in Kenya, I believe, is by now abundantly clear to all. The fight against corruption and impunity is not, as some will say, a transitory effort. Strong action against the culprits will become a way of life in our society, and the measures in place to check the wanton wastage and leakage of public resources will be integrated into every facet of our public life. We have assumed the whole government approach in the war against corruption, where every state agency and every citizen is encouraged to watch over and protect public property. And to those who come against us in this matter, I don't want to say what I've said before, because that's only going to be the only story. In an effort to address poverty and inequality, we have initiated various funds targeting women, the youth, and vulnerable groups in Kenya. We have also embarked on the implementation of the Big Four agenda with special focus on critical sectors, notably enhancing manufacturing, food security, universal health coverage, and affordable housing. These sectors were chosen because of their huge potential in addressing poverty and vulnerability amongst our people. They are also vital building blocks in the attainment of Kenya's Vision 2030, as well as the Sustainable Development Goals and Africa's Agenda 2063. Chairperson, let me assure you that as a country, we remain committed to the Africa Peer Review Mechanism, and we are convinced it is for the good of our country and the good of our continent. And in this regard, as a country, we are looking forward to the third review, which I would like to focus on the above four issues, plus cross-cutting issues identified in the second review. Emphasis on the extent to which the implementation of the Big Four has positively impacted the day-to-day lives of ordinary Kenyans across the length and breadth of the Republic would also be welcome. Finally, I am pleased to note the efforts being made to cascade the APRM to the counties. County governors have expressed their commitment to peer review and to hold each other accountable in the governance and development of their respective counties. Kenya will be among the first countries to customize the APRM to the second tier of governance, and this, I believe, will foster democratic dialogue between leaders and citizens in pursuit of improved public service. I really just want to reiterate two things and to say that those who came up with the idea of us being able to review one another as countries across the length and breadth of our continent, I believe had a mission that we didn't want to be lectured at, but we also acknowledged that we have our strengths, but also our weaknesses, and that we need to be able to be frank and open with one another as we address ourselves to these challenges. So therefore, ladies and gentlemen, when we say we want to be committed to bringing Kenyans together, this is not a political agenda. This is a challenge that even our brothers and sisters across the African continent have identified as a problem that Kenyans must address. So there is no political intention of hurting this person or fighting that person or doing this person, but we must come together, because if we can't come together and deal with these challenges, it is going to hurt each and every one of us. So please, and I really beseech our leaders, let us stop politicizing nothing. This is a challenge that we have as a country and as a people, and we can only address it together. Right? We can only address it together. Right? So it's not Uhuru trying to impose something. Our own colleagues, our own brothers and sisters, they have seen what our division and our politicization of politics and our tribal divisions, they have seen what it has cost us. They are encouraging us to find a formula to solve it. Jameni, find something else to do on weekends, my brothers and sisters. Yeah? You know, please. Yeah? The second, again, is not me, right? Corruption has been identified as, again, a major stumbling block towards Kenya achieving prosperity, equality, and becoming a truly middle-income country. Again, there is no politics there. We have worked together on this with many already in this room, others outside this room. Let us allow the agencies to do their work. Let us not turn this into community fights, into individual fights. You know, so-and-so is being targeted, so-and-so is being targeted. We must deal with corruption. And the fact of the matter is, whether we as Kenyans want to accept it or not, it exists. And it is an impediment. It is a stumbling block. Right? And again, our brothers and sisters on the continent have recognized that to be a problem. Sasa jameni, why do we need to politicize? Why don't we fix it? Yeah? One way or another, let us fix it. Right? Let us find that formula to fix it, to stop it, so that we protect our resources to be able to go into the areas that they should be going into. Jameni, and that is why I'm saying I am proud today that my honored guest, my chief guest, is a man who has shown that commitment, integrity, does pay off. It does pay off. It does pay off. Let us commit ourselves to that. Let us come together. If indeed somebody feels that this action or that action, put it on the table. Tell us where and where. Let us sit together. We don't want corruption to be used to victimize anybody. We want corruption to be resolved to benefit, by the end of the census, 50 million people. And that's the way we should address ourselves to this issue. Yeah? That's the way we should address ourselves to this issue. So again, please, let this also be an agenda that we remove from funerals and weddings and I don't know what, because that's not where you're going to get the answer. Yeah? The answer is going to come from us talking to one another and being able to deal with these challenges. Yeah? And that's why I am very proud today with the words and the sentiments of Governor Oparanya, that in the same manner that other African countries are telling us, guys, these are your problems, you've got to fix them. Governor Oparanya is also saying, we too in the counties have challenges, right? Let us also accept that we can criticize, correct, and inform each other of where we have gone wrong and how we can do better, right? That ultimately is what leads to good governance. That ultimately is what leads to prosperous societies. So let us work together in this spirit, ladies and gentlemen. This country belongs to all of us. This country needs all of us. And it's true, we can be political competitors, but we do not have to be destructors of our nation. We can compete in a civilized manner. All right? Recognizing that even after that competition, nobody is leaving Kenya. Nobody is going anywhere. Right? So when we say we are reaching out, how do you expect me to say that I am governing if I don't reach out to the 45, 46, whatever percent, or 48 people, whatever they decide? Yeah? But there's a huge chunk that didn't vote for me. I got to work with them, man. Where are they going? Yeah? Where are they going? As a reporter once asked President Mugabe, you know, when are you going to let the people of Zimbabwe go? And he asked, where are they going? You know, because even today I ask the same question. Yeah? When I'm told, why are you, because, you know, let those people go who belong to the other side, don't deal with them. Now I ask, so where are they going? They're going nowhere. They're going nowhere, and they must be served. They must be addressed. Their issues must be resolved. And how do you do it without talking, my friends? How do you do it without talking and engaging? Yeah? Jamani, sisi watu wa Kenya, jamani. Anyway, in conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, I just wish to reiterate that Kenya is fully on track in the implementation of its commitments to the APRM, and our active support and participation in the mechanism remains assured for many years to come. I once again want to thank each and every one of you for your continued partnership in the promotion of good governance in Kenya and across this great continent of Africa. Asante sana na Mungu awabariki. Thank you very much.